Welcome to the ultimate Manchester United FM26 rebuild. This video is going to be the complete package of how I turned Manchester United from where they are now into Premier League and Champions League winners. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into it. What's going on, people? Welcome to episode 1 of the United project. And this time, we're going red. That is right. So, this is going to be a big moment. It's a team that I support on a game that I love. If you do enjoy the rebuilds, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hype up the video as much as you can and whack that sub bell on, because I am buzzing for this. I want to try and turn United into a Premier League winning side, and who knows, maybe a UCL winning side. I honestly do not know. Now, I will say I'm going to be live streaming on this as well very shortly, so that is also why I'll get that bell on, because we're going to be making tactics, we're going to be doing other things as well, and I hope to see you there. So then, Manchester United inside of FM26. Damn, it feels good to say that. Going into the facilities, we are talking about superb training facilities. Of course, a big upgrade recently. Superb youth facilities. We love to see that. Excellent academy coaching, excellent youth recruitment, pitch condition perfect. You know, it's all looking good. Corporate excellent as well. We've got it all going on. And I mean, we're a club that have won too many trophies to even count, really. I mean, 3 Champions Leagues, 20 Premier Leagues, 1 Intercontinental, 1 Cup Winners' Cup, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 Europa League, 13 FA Cups. I mean, the list goes on. It actually goes off the entire screen. It is that impressive. Now, recent times, let's brush over it, shall we? Since Fergie, it's not been exactly ideal, has it? And today, I'm going to try and make Amorim's system work in this game, which we have actually gone over and already made. So I'll show you that right now. Before we go over and do that, of course, budget-wise, we don't have a mad budget for Season 1, and I'm not going to sign any players anyway, because we have had quite a big window in real life regardless, and I think, to be honest, we don't really need to sign anybody else in this game. In real life, there's definitely an argument we need a couple more positions filled, but in this game, for Season 1, I will keep it as what we have in real life, so we can get a fair estimate of exactly what happens. Now, I have gone over and made an Amorim tactic. Now, it is Amorim inspired, so I'm not saying it is pure one-to-one, but it is a tactic that is coming out tomorrow on Josh Daly, and there will be a complete breakdown there. But if you are a Patreon member, of course, you get early access to it again. So if you are enjoying and you're interested in getting all of these cool perks, it does pretty much unlock everything I do. All of my FM26 tactics, rebuild files, set pieces, training, ad-free viewing, one-on-one tactical help. We just announced a £1,500 PayPal giveaway, and so much more. Make sure you go and take full advantage with the perks on Patreon in the description. Now, the tactic is obviously going to be a very unique system, both featuring the free back. I was going to do a rebuild without playing Amorim's system, and I was just like, no, it doesn't feel right, you know. Part of the whole challenge is to try and get this free back sorted, and yeah, that's what we're going to try and do. So it is actually a 3-4-2-1, and there isn't too much change in terms of the back line, but obviously the big change from in possession and out possession is this right here, going narrow, and we have got some really good players. So let's actually, is the combined view going to be glitched? It's not going to be glitched. That's really nice to see. So let's go over and actually look at some of our players. So we are going to have Lehmann's in goal. Of course, the new man in net, been really good in real life, in my humble opinion. And I believe he's looking okay in the game. He's not exactly world class by any means, but I just hope that we don't have to replace him just because he's not good enough in the game, because in real life, I think he's actually quite a good goalkeeper. From the limited amount of game time we've seen so far, I like to judge players after sort of like a whole season, to be honest. Now, the back line consists of Shaw, De Ligt, Yoro. This is filtered, by the way, by the best 11. I don't really like Luke Shaw at centre-back. Obviously, let's not forget, obviously, you know, we've got Heaven, we've got Maguire, we've got Armour, we've got players, obviously Mazraoui can play there, Martinez as well. We've got options, but obviously there are players that I think do need to come in. I'd love to sign a centre-back, and I'm sure over the next 3 episodes, including this one, not including this one, sorry, so 4 total, we will obviously solve that issue. Midfield is where a lot of people want to see a certain Baleba come in. If I can make that happen, I will attempt it. But for now, we are going to have Ugarte sitting deep. Obviously, we can also look at the likes of Casemiro, who I want gone quite quickly. Pretty much the first player I think of getting rid of when I start a United rebuild. No disrespect to him, because he actually looks quite good mentally and technically. But other than that, he's 33, high wages. He's got to go. He's got to go. Ugarte, I don't love. I don't hate. I feel like he's a player that definitely we haven't seen the best of since joining Manchester United. I feel like I'm being very polite today with my own team. Definitely not seen the best of him. And as for this man, well, get him the statue. I love him to pieces. I'd love to see him win a real big trophy at Manchester United. And hopefully today I can make that happen. I've personally got no plans to let him go. This is going to be, what, maybe a 3 to 4 year project. I'm going to let him retire at the club. I want that to happen. Unless he demands a move, I'm not going to allow him to move because I want to keep him. Wingbacks, okay. Well, you've got Diego Dalot, probably one of the most disliked Manchester United players by the fans from what I see on social media. Of course, we can play Amad there, which is going to be pretty much one of our, hopefully, key projects that does work. Dorgu at left back, of course, you are also going to have Luke Shaw, who can play there. You've got Malacia. You've also got Mazraoui could play at right back, and Dalot could play at left back. You've got a decent options at the back, but they're decent at best, and I don't know if they're anywhere near Premier League winning quality. So I think wing-backs will be a position that I do sign in, and maybe offload Shaw, offload Malacia, something like that. But then the likes of Dorgu, I want to give the young kid a chance, you know. He's 20 years of age, but this is not a 10-year project. I've not got a decade to play with. I've got more 3 to 4 years. So we'll give him a shot, obviously, in the first season and see exactly what happens. We've then got a very exciting new look front three. I mean, Cunha, what a goal, by the way, the other day. It was absolutely incredible. And he's a player that I think he'll kick into gear. He looks sensational in this year's game. He's got good pace, good acceleration. He's got great aggression, good dribbling, good long shots, good determination, flair, good work rate, pretty much good everything. He's a really cool player to have in the team, and you partner him with Mbeumo and he is exactly the same. Looks really young. Again, these two are very exciting players, and the great thing about them is we can obviously go out wide and then inside because they can play both to a very high pedigree. Looking at the likes of Benjamin Sesko, the one of the signers in real life that I don't think has fully shown himself yet, and I think he will. He just needs a little bit of time, and I hope he's given that time and we're patient, because I think there is a bagsman in there. We've seen it at his former club. Believe it or not, I actually did watch a lot of him because being a Leipzig man, I do like my Red Bull, and I watched a lot of him, so I know how good he actually is. But that is in the German league. We are now in the Premier League, I do have to remember. But overall, it's a decent team on paper. My expectation for Season 1 would try and get into the top 4 at bare minimum, try and see if we can get Champions League football. Now, if we have a bit of a blowout, it doesn't happen. I'm not going to rage quit the save because I'm fully aware that it's a bold tactic to play this, you know. If I went in with a 4-2-3-1, I'm pretty sure I could win the league in Season 1, but I don't want to do that. I want to be quite fun, play the system that Amorim plays, and maybe that's me being silly. But out of the first 11, Dalot is wanted. He is one of the few players wanted. Heaven is also wanted. Alte, Amad's wanted by Bayern Munich. Interesting. Okay, Mount is wanted by Al Ittihad. Anybody else? No one of real value. So obviously we have got players out on loan. We've got this man, Rasmus Højlund, where we are going to see what happens. Now again, this is not a realism rebuild. We're still in the beta phase, guys, so we're just sort of having some fun, rebuilding some of my favourite clubs, and yeah, we're taking it from there. Rasmus out on loan. We've got Rashford out on loan. Obviously, again, Rashford, he was sensational in the Barcelona one that we done a few days ago. Such a good player, so I might even keep him. Sancho, I just want to see him gone, so hopefully they take him. And obviously, we also have got Onana out on loan, which will be interesting. Now, when we revisit this as a club, as a rebuild, and we do realism, we are going to offload realistically, bring in realistically, but we're still in the beta period, guys, so we're just trying to do a nice, simple rebuild, see what can happen, see if we can actually win using the Amorim system. Because so far that's not been the case in real life. And yeah, you know, you've got Joshua Zirkzee injured, Martinez injured, 3 to 4 months, Mazraoui 4 weeks to 2 months, Zirkzee 3 to 6 weeks. So, but you know, we've got a few players injured right from the get-go. On the bench, obviously, you've got Alte, Heaven, Amad, Malacia, Kobbie Mainoo. Criminal the way he's been treated of the recent past few months. So hopefully he works his way into the team. You are going to have the likes of Cheeto, you've got Maguire, Mason Mount, who apparently is really good in this game. Anybody that can vouch for that, please let me know, because I've not seen it myself. And then obviously got Casemiro and people like that. So we have got a pretty decent team, to be honest. But obviously looking at the match day, we are playing in these competitions, Premier League, FA Cup, EFL Cup. So I'm hoping to get as close to Champions League as possible. The FA Cup, I really want to try and win at least one of these English Cups over the next few years, just to say that we've won one. And yeah, I think what we'll do now, the sensible thing, is to look at our schedule, sort of see what we're going to start with. So already I've seen Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. You know, you're playing 3 top teams inside of a couple of months there, which is not ideal. But we'll go play some of these friendlies, see how we do, hopefully come back with some good results. And yeah, this season is just about learning how bad things are at this club, and we'll build from there, because trust me, I'm not expecting perfection in season 1. Right then, so the friendlies went really, really well. It's going to be a 4-2 win over Rapid Wien. We then go over and beat FC Marchfeld 5-0 with goals from Sesko and Buomo, 2 of those, Dallo and Casemiro. We then win 5-2, 4-0, and we draw against Brest. Now, if you're wondering why the game slightly changed, I actually simmed season 1 and then didn't have an intro, so that's why the calendar is a little bit different for the friendlies, to make it very clear. But so far, we're looking at sort of 4 goals scored, 5, 5, 4, then none. We are conceding a few goals against weak teams, which might indicate real life. We can't really defend that well all the time, but we can score the occasional goal. But this time, we're scoring a bankload of goals. And, I mean, Sesko, 2 goals there, and Buomo scored 2 there. Sesko goal and Buomo 2. You've got Sesko goal, Cunha 3, Cunha 2. Yeah, we might be cooking. So let's get into our first game of the season against Arsenal. I'm quietly quite confident here. Am I mental for thinking that? And here we go. We're going to be playing Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal. Dorgu down the left-hand side, a ball in, and Cunha is going to make it 1-0 inside of 27 minutes as we go again here. Fernandes into Mbeumo, into Bruno Fernandes, back into Mbeumo, into Benjamin Sesko, and that is going to be 1-0 inside, 2-0 inside of 34 minutes, sorry. Forgot how dominant we're already starting. Cunha down the left-hand side, running at the back line. Great ball in, and Sesko is going to make it 3, and this might be a little bit of an indicator of how good this tactic is going forwards. Cunha out wide, over the top, into Sesko, direct. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. A great finish into the bottom right-hand corner. Now, we do go on to concede a goal. Trossard down the left-hand side. I mean, that bit of skill is remarkable. It's a great finish as well. I've got to give them credit, and they are fortunate enough to grab another goal. But for our debut game, we're going to take 3 points at home against Arsenal, and we hold on to a 2-goal cushion. I'll take that. And we backed it up with a 1-0 win away against Fulham with a goal from Bruno Fernandes. We then have our first game in the EFL Cup against Salford, where we are going to see goals from Mason Mount and Joshua Zirkzee, which again, I will take quite happily. And things were going all golden until, in the Premier League, we lose at home to Burnley. A goal from Broja, and it's not awful. The worrying thing is we have got Man City up next, which is going to be an interesting game. But this game against Burnley was very unique because I can't even say that we deserve to win it. Burnley really did turn up, and I've got to give them their props, you know. They turned up, they got the job done, and was it a pretty game? No, it wasn't, but fair play to them. But it's a little bit of a knock for us, you know. That early on, it's never nice to lose points to a team like Burnley. Well, I'm not really sure what's happened with the game, but the game against Man City did end 0-0, so I'll actually take that. A point away against Man City, title favourites with Liverpool. Yeah, I'll take that. Not sure what's happened here, though. And with no goal in 2 games, this was a must-stat pad game. Against Preston in the Cup, we are going to make it 1-0 with a goal from Ahmad, playing in that right-back role inside of about 25 minutes. But Preston scores, so yeah, a little bit worrying. Luckily, Bruno slots away a penalty inside of 56 minutes, and we go again here with Mazraoui into Bruno, takes on his man. That is beautiful. Goes alone, and Bruno is really coming to life this season already. And we wrap up this game 4-1. So the stat pad, well, the stat pad, it's been successful. We'll take it. Progression again. And with that stat pad, we have finally hit a little bit of form. Manchester United are back. A 3-1 win over Chelsea. And they only got a consolation goal, thanks to Liam Delap. I mean, Sesko, De Ligt and Buomo absolutely firing on all cylinders. We also backed that up with a win away against Brentford. So we are completely flying. You know, teams like Brentford have challenged us in the past. And, you know, Sunderland as well have challenged us in the past. But not today. These results, ever since that game against Preston, 4-1, 3-1, 1-0, 1-0, and then that happened. a 6-0 loss to Liverpool. And we're going to see exactly what happened in this game, because I can't quite believe my eyes. Talk about going from a high to a low. I know that's what football's about sometimes, but that just takes the biscuit a little bit, you know? I mean, it's a ball in from... Oh my, Florian Wirtz is performing well. I mean, we didn't have a good game. That is a scrappy goal to concede. I mean, Anfield, that's a foul. That wasn't given. Well, I don't want to say the match was rigged or anything, guys, but I mean, come on. Any danger of a referee being around here? Isaac running at the back line into Mo Salah. He's also turning up this season. Goes through, and it's so easy. The back line just fell apart, and maybe this is an indicator of what can happen when playing a top team. I mean, we got a point against City, though, so we defended quite well in that game. But in this game, we were 4-0 down in 68 minutes and made that 5-0 down in 74. Great touch from Wirtz, and, well, I think that's what Liverpool paid the money for. They're not getting it, but it's what they paid for. And Isaac finishes a penalty. How has he not saved that? What was that goal there? Can we rewatch it? I am sorry. Layman's, are you okay? We have got a possession crisis, I will be honest with you. We do bounce back in the next game against Brighton, but we have 38% possession. Now, it's been quite a familiar pattern, right, over the past sort of, you know, few games. We're not exactly always dominant on the ball, but we are winning games, and I don't mind it, but yeah, I want to have at least sort of 45%. If I can pick an amount, 45 would be nice. Diego Dalot may be our hero. I never thought I'd say that as a United fan, because again, a awful performance, but Dalot pushes us through the EFL Cup, and we are flying in that competition. We beat Southampton. Dalot goal, 75th minute. It's not pretty, but we'll take it. And yeah, we sort of are going through spells at the moment, and sadly for us, you're about to see a month of utter pain. Because in the month of November 2025, you know, the month before Christmas, joy and celebration. Sack off the celebration. We lose 4-2 against Nottingham Forest away, 1-0 away against Tottenham with a goal from Brennan Johnson. Everton, we do pick up 3 points, but then when I thought, yes, we're back in form, we fall again. Crystal Palace win 1-0 from a 32-minute goal from Tyrek Mitchell. So the whole story of this season so far has been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We simply can't get it right consistently. And we now go into December, and I'm looking at the schedule. We've got a game against West Ham, a game against Wolves, Bournemouth. Then we've got a cup game against City in the Carabao Cup, where we've been playing so well. Villa, Newcastle, Wolves. There's teams that can take points off us. If Palace can, a few of these names might not be as good, but they still can take points off us. Couldn't even say how important this game was for us. Against West Ham in rainy conditions, not making excuses, we do go 1-0 up inside of 18 minutes, and to be honest with you, we really needed to win this for our own confidence, and luckily we do. It's a great ball over the top into Sesko, and he is fire, and we love to see that. And, you know, to be honest with you, it wasn't perfection, because they go and score a goal, and ideally, I would have kept a clean sheet, but the game ends, you know, 2-1, it's something. After that poor run, I'll take it. And it's the same pattern. This is so bizarre. We beat West Ham 2-1, we beat Wolves 2-0, we beat Bournemouth 2-0, who, by the way, have got a very good team and manager, as we've seen in real life. But next up is going to be that EFL Cup, where so far, to be fair to us, we have beaten Southampton 1-0, we've beaten Preston 4-1, and we beat Salford 3-0. So we're not conceding many, and we're scoring. But now we play Man City, a bit of an upgrade on Preston. And that game ended 2-1 to Man City. The sad thing, we were in control of the game. We went 1-0 up, we were playing good football, and then Rangers scored to equalise, and then Nunes scored 5 minutes after. So, yeah, that run of the cup's done. As we're out of that competition now, I can comfortably show you who won it, and it actually was Liverpool who won it. Nottingham Forest got to the final, so fair play to them, but that is Liverpool. Obviously, yeah, fair play. I mean, a 7-goal final. I dread to think what would have happened if I would have played them. And what would be better than 1 negative? How about 2 negative? Because we lose to Aston Villa the following game, and this is becoming a recurring pattern. We seem to be up, down, as I keep saying, up, down, up, down. While you're down, by the way, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, it's actually quite unbelievable. Now, I'm looking at the calendar right now, and the patterns recurred again because we bounced back a 2-1 win over Newcastle. Dallo Fernandez, bounce back game. Obviously, we went 1-0 down thanks to Joelinton, but we are going to come back and put on a really, really good performance. Wolves at home, obviously lucky enough to have 2 home fixtures back to back. Again, we go a goal down, which, by the way, is not a healthy habit. But we are going to get back into it with De Ligt, Xerxes, Bruno Fernandes. Perfection. Leeds away, 4-2. Hat-trick from Sesko, who, by the way, is on fire this season. A goal from Luke Shaw, but Leeds putting 2 past us. Burnley away. Again, we don't go a goal down. We go a goal up, then they equalise. Mason Mount sent off. So that's actually quite a good game, that is, to be fair, because we managed to win it with 10 men. So that's actually something that I'm not going to critique them too much. It's not too bad. The Brentford game, it's okay. I mean, I don't think we would have dominated them too bad. I mean, what did we actually do? We had more possession, so the possession is working its way up, but we now get to play City again. The joys of that, and we are on a good run, to be honest with you. The games haven't been beautiful to watch, but to be fair, maybe a point against City. If you said to me, Josh, you can get 2 points from 2 matches against City, I might take it. I might take that offer. I'm going to be honest. Sadly, the game's doing the thing where you can't actually watch all of the goals, unless it lets me if I click on this goal here, which it doesn't, sadly. And we do win 2-1, which is really, really cool to see. And to be honest with you, it was thanks to an own goal that we took the advantage. Haaland scored in the 48th minute, and we scored in the 48th minute. So, I mean, it was a very interesting game, but we played City twice now, and we've got 4 points. In my book, that's an incredible time. We go and back it up with a win against Fulham. Now, between this lovely 2-0 win and, you know, the 2-1 win, you know, against City, which was incredible, we do lose against Arsenal. And usually I'll be a little bit annoyed, but I'm not as annoyed because we have done well in this game against City, and we have obviously won against Brentford, Burnley, Leeds, Wolves, Newcastle. What could annoy me? A draw to Tottenham, a loss to West Ham, a 4-1 loss to Chelsea, a 1-1 draw against Everton. We are not consistent. We've actually got the problem we've got in real life. We can't be consistent. Let me just... I'm going to talk about it again. We beat Newcastle, 1 win, 2 win, 3 win, 4 win, 5 win, 6 wins on the bounce with wins over Newcastle and City. 2 challenging teams. Obviously, then we do technically, we beat Fulham, but we had this game first. So we lose against Arsenal, and then we just lose our heads in pretty much the whole month of February, apart from 3 points at home against Palace. But it's the same old story. I mean, this Chelsea game. In fact, let's actually look at the more sort of closer games. The game against Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, they deserve to win that. I was going to try and make a case for myself. They deserve to win that. The Tottenham game, we deserve to win. So the performance was there. To be fair, we just couldn't get the goal. So that's a little bit easier to accept. One, I'm not even going to check the stats because when you lose 4-1, you're doing something wrong. And, you know, when your only goal's coming from a centre-back, yeah, you got some explaining to do. So, I mean, the one small positive, yay, we got, 4 points out of our last 2 games in that month. But looking into the month of March, we didn't start well either. We draw against Newcastle, which, you know what, isn't actually that bad by itself. But when you put all these results together over a couple of month period, so if you actually look at the whole month of February, we actually pick up 1 point, 2 point, 5 points in a whole month. It is not good enough at all. And the thing is, actually, this one, luckily, I say luckily, it's not luckily, I have just noticed, again, it's one thing that I really want them to make more sort of in your face. This was actually the FA Cup that we lose in 4-1. So it doesn't affect the league, but it is another trophy we are out of. And Chelsea go on to win that competition. So, to be honest with you, that's not actually horrific because I thought that was in the league initially. But we've still lost 4-1. We've got to be fair to ourselves. We can't sit here and smile. We're Manchester United, and despite Sesko having a moment to rest, Cunha's going to dribble it past him. That is disrespectful. We are going to go 1-0 up against Aston Villa at home, and we are going to pick up 3 points in this game, which surprised me, to be honest. Martinez running at his man, and actually, I mean, that was really impressive. We'll take it. And it was a game at home that we did actually put on for the fans in quite a good fashion. And despite one negative of Sesko being injured, We'll take the 3 points. And to wrap up the month of March 2026, we lose against Bournemouth from a goal from one of the better players actually in, well, not going to say the world, but in the Premier League at the moment. It's going to be Semenyo. The guy is an absolute menace. Such a good player, looks really good in this game, really high value, deserved value, and a player that, you know, I'm not saying I would never sign. Wink, wink. I'm keeping my options open. He looks really good. To be fair, the month of April 2026 is actually quite okay. I mean, we pick up a win against Leeds at home, a win against Brentford, and a point away against Chelsea. Now, this Chelsea game was a game that we played a lot better in compared to the FA Cup. Obviously, 7 shots, 3 on target, a little less possession, but better XG, more shots. We didn't get battered like we did obviously in the FA Cup game, and we are now going into sort of the last month or so of the Premier League, and I don't want to spoil it bang on, but I'll tell you something. We're bouncing between the top 6 and top 4. It's going to come down to the wire. This game right here is actually massive because they are being a competitor for us actually in the league. And to get a point here is actually what we needed. And as long as we go on to beat Sunderland in the next game, then we don't have to rely on luck to get in the top 4. And after getting a point here against Liverpool, beating Brentford, beating Leeds, surely things can't go wrong, right? Well, what if I told you we lost 3-1? Solanke, 49 minutes. We got a goal in the 51st minute, a goal in the 61st minute, and Sesko does get a goal in the 63rd minute, but we lose 3-1. And this now means that we have to rely on luck to get inside of the top 4. Something that I hate because you can't control luck. We do have 2 games left, and to be fair, we took advantage of one of them, a 4-2 win over Forest and a point against Brighton, but you now can look at the whole calendar all in one and see exactly what this season has been. And my word to describe it is inconsistency. Now, the great thing about these sort of rebuilds is that we are constantly changing the tactic to get to the final product. So when this is ready to be a video on the main channel, that will be the final one. And that's one positive because we can actually learn the game quite well. We started off so hot, didn't we? Really, really hot. Even the loss against Burnley was somewhat accepted because we'd done a really good pre-season, good points against Arsenal, Fulham, through in the cup, a good run here, a bad run here, good run here, you know, bad run here. And then the bad run, pretty much, to be honest with you, from really the 24th of January downwards, there isn't much to cheer about because the wins from the 24th was against Fulham, Palace, Villa, Leeds, Brentford, and Forest. Teams that we probably should be beating. And you look at the teams that we didn't beat, and yeah, this might be why we've not won anything. As obviously we don't win the FA Cup because we got knocked out of that against Chelsea in 4-1 fashion. The Carabao Cup, if you don't remember, but City knocked us out. So yeah, top 4 has to be done, and we're going to see if we've done it. We have done it, but look at that league table. That is why you do not mess about with some of these fixtures, because we get in, but we are tied on points with Arsenal. City blitzed the league, by the way. 17-point advantage, so they are the team to sort of try and reach. Arsenal, United, all on the same points. Liverpool are in there. Tottenham only 4 points off us, literally 3 points off the top 4. Bournemouth not far behind. The teams going down: Burnley, Fulham, and Wolves. You've got Chelsea in 11th, Newcastle in 12th, Brighton in 15th. You know, looking at some of these positions of teams, how we didn't beat some of them, I do not know. Man City, though, they were simply flawless. They definitely set the benchmark for the season, obviously being ran by arguably the best manager to ever manage in football. Don't like saying that, but it's a pretty common opinion. Their calendar is looking very, very nice. I mean, 8-1 against Burnley. They're in a UCL final against Arsenal. You know, they've been absolutely on it from the get-go. And I'm not a bitter person. At the end of the day, if someone's played better than me, I'm going to run up to it and say it. You know, this tactic is in its first evolution. We're still learning exactly what its weaknesses are, what its positives are, building up from there, trying to get the most out of it. And in terms of player performance, we'll go and look at the squad right now, of course, together. We can sort of see what's gone on. So firstly, contract-wise, if we actually filter by this, we are going to have some players. I usually worry about a year ahead and that's it. So Jadon Sancho can go, Sam can go, Alte no, Go, go, go. Tyrone Malacia, old transfer list. Dermot, Reese, Tyler, Victor. They can all go for all that I care. I'm not too fussed, to be honest with you. Now, in terms of performance, what we're really here for. So, if we actually look at the goals first, we have got Sesko with 19. Very interesting. Rasmus Højlund out on loan, 11. He actually had a really, really good season. Now, the question is, where did Napoli finish? Can we actually see? Second in the league. So they had a great season, to be fair to them. I imagine Rasmus obviously was part of their success because he scored 11 goals. Bruno 10 and 6 and Buomo 5 and 5. Issue already noted. We don't have enough goals from enough players. So when you've got someone like Sesko, who is scoring 19 goals, when you take him away from the team, we saw that he got injured. Maybe, there's whatever it happens, injuries, out of form, whatever you want to say. That's where the goals are going. We don't have enough goal scorers in the team. So we need to make the tactic a little bit more attacking, potentially. And that's quite easily done. Obviously, if we look at the tactic itself, we could actually go attacking with the mentality. We're actually quite defensively structured in terms of, you look at all instructions, you go to out of possession, with mid blocking it, we've got a standard line. We can push up a lot more, and maybe that's what we have to do. By the way, if anyone's wondering how I'm clicking through the menu so quickly, check FM Scout from a couple of days ago. I've got you covered. There's a little mod you can do. Assist-wise, not bad, not great. I think the overall word that I'd use to describe this is not bad, not great. Well, it's multiple words, but rating-wise, Rashford's is our best player, technically. Obviously, he was out on loan. But also, you've got to factor in appearances, right? So, Luke Shaw is actually our best average-rated player. He enjoyed quite a good season, to be fair, which is a little bit alarming because I said I wanted to sell him. But, looking at this team on paper, of course, first of all, we've got 92 million, so we can go and spend money going into the next season, and we will do that window. Don't worry, that is going to happen next video. But I think on paper, if we filter by the best 11, for example, and go and have a little look right now, it's not bugged. That's good to see. Go on to the both combined view, or the both view, should I say. We have got, obviously, Lehman's in goal. He's a worry because he's good in real life. Is he good enough in the game? I honestly don't know. De Ligt, Yoro, Shaw, Maguire, Martinez, I want to sell and bring someone else in. Dorgu might bring in a left back. Dallo might bring in a right back. DM might get Baleba. The front line, I think I'm going to keep for now because they are impressing me in terms of, I think, stat-wise, maybe not. Sesko is, but I think we can extract more from Cunha, from Mbuemo, even Fernandes, we can get more. This tactic is a new project at the end of the day. Mason Mount didn't really turn up. Funny, not funny, but he is injured. Constant injuries. And there are players we are going to sell. I don't really want to spoil too much of what happens next episode, so got to keep the mouth shut. But obviously players that we are going to welcome back next year do include Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and also Andre Onana. And these are players that, to be honest with you, I think, unless the game's realistic, and for example, like in our Barcelona save, Rashford was 30 million, they might just pop that and make it happen. If that happens, we will sell him. But if it doesn't, again, this is not a realism rebuild. This is purely a rebuild for my enjoyment and hopefully your enjoyment as well. Now, when we actually look at some of the stats of this season, the Data Hub explains it really, really well, right? Because, and you'll see it in future episodes, we do improve this, don't worry. Hence why this is not a tactic video yet, because it's simply not good enough. 1.3 goals a game, 0.9 conceded. Every game you're playing is like a nail biter. You can't play football like that. It is painful for the fans. It's painful for everybody. Have they got stats on this yet? Not really in terms of numbers. It's a little bit sort of mental at the moment, but when that becomes workable, we can see that, we will look at it. But I mean, to be honest with you, we have got these tabs here, which a lot of people forget you can look at. You can get quite technical. So I don't know. I'm just going to say my piece here about this game. I want to know what you think of the game in the comments, but I think it's got potential. I don't think it's perfect. I think there's some things about the game that do need to improve, but I don't hate it, and I want to get your feedback in the comments as well. But that is going to be episode 1 of this Manchester United rebuild done. Obviously trophyless, we are in the Champions League, so come back tomorrow where we fight in the Champions League, try and win the Premier League, and take on another season with a new man, who I'm not going to tell you who it is. Try and guess. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today it is part 2 of the Manchester United rebuild, and this is an absolute banger of a video. We really push it to the opposition. If you do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Whack on the sub bell so you never miss another upload, because also we're going to be streaming next week the second the full game releases, and that's where you can come and ask me questions, see me make tactics, and so much more. Make sure you stop by one of those if you got the time. Let's get in to part 2. So, a little recap for those that missed episode 1. We actually did finish inside of the top 4. It's the only thing we've really done in that season, but we do get in the top 4, and that does mean we have got Champions League football. Now, we had quite a fair budget to go and spend, and my head went to DM and wingback. So, hopefully we can go and sign a DM and a wingback. That would be ideal. Now, obviously, the aim of today's video is to try and push on from this 3rd place in the Premier League and try and see what we can do in the UCL. Obviously, it's our first time back in the UCL since we've not been in the UCL, so it's not going to be too easy. I'm going to see what we can do, but yeah, let's go and shake things up. So then, this was a decision that was actually taken out of my hands because Tyrell Malacia did not want a new contract, and he actually went on free to, well, he went on free to Milan in the end. So he's a player that, to be honest with you, I personally would have liked to get a little bit of money for. Now, I usually would be very angry because this is such a new game. We're still learning everything. It's a mistake, but I won't let it happen again and letting players go out on the free. The only positive to this is he was going to get moved on. He was going to get moved on. So, I mean, I guess the small positive is at least he has gone. And it does clean up that position for another left back to come in because Shaw's playing left centre back now. So, you know, we do actually need a left back to go alongside of Dorgu. And from Barcelona, we are going to pick up a very good wing back. And don't worry, we are going to talk transfer fees in a second after we've seen every single player we've brought. Now, don't worry, we've not gone crazy. We have brought 2 players. The first one is going to be this guy, Gerard Martin. Now, he can play centre back and left back, which is really vital for me because obviously we are playing a 3-back system, and versatility is actually one of the main things I like to sign in players. And at the end of the day, this guy has got great acceleration, good agility, good pace, good stamina, good strength, good fitness, you know, good technique, good tackling, good heading, so he could play centre-back as well. He's got the attributes to play in both areas. Now, for us, he actually did play a lot of time at left-back, which is literally ideal, because at the end of the day, we have got Dorgu there, who is very good. Shaw can play there, but he's playing a lot more at centre-back. So this man actually become a first-team player. He is getting paid close to £170,000 a week, which, you know, is a fair bit of Wonga to pay. But to be honest with you, it's an investment that we definitely needed. And then we go in and we pick up Carlos Baleba, the man that many Manchester United fans want in real life. And we're going to see if he did work. Now, I will go over and say right away, actually, in terms of his overall performance, he was pretty average in his first season. Of course, we're going to learn about this as we go through the video. But he comes in, he's decent, definitely a lot of money for actually, not what you get saying that in a bad way, but it's a lot of money regardless of how good he is, because this man cost me a total of, let's go and have a quick look, he cost me 90 million. Gerard Martin cost me 49, but 90 million pounds for a player who, he done okay, 6.99. I mean, to be fair, 10 goal contributions in 33 games is really good. Martin had a great season as well. 6 and 10's a really good time. However, got 14 yellow cards across all comps, which is quite a fair few amount of bookings. Now, to be honest with you, someone like Baleba is going to be one of our big signings throughout the whole project. So it's not just a signing that's going to be taken part this season or next. If you guys carry on the Patreon, of course, you can go and have some fun as well. So let's go and see what this team looks like with these 2 in. So this is going to be the team. Now, don't worry, we are going to play Baleba a little bit deeper. In fact, we're going to let him fight for his position. But the team on paper now has Martin in there. It also has Martinez, De Ligt, Yoro as the back three. Lehmann's remains. Casemiro, sadly, is still at the club for now, but this might change as obviously we progress. You've got Mazraoui, you've got Mbeumo, you've got Sesko, you've got Rashford. You've got a really, really good team in and out of possession. Don't worry, it's not the finalised teams go into the games. Now, what I will say again is people obviously got it yesterday, but any part of the video, you want to get all of these cool Patreon perks. It does include the Amarim tactic, all of these save files, everything I do. All my tactics, rebuild files, set pieces, training, tactical help, ad-free viewing. This month we've got a £1,500 PayPal giveaway split between 10 winners, so a lot of people get to a little bit of the pie, if you want to word it like that. Be sure to check out the Patreon. The link is going to be in the description. But I think with these next couple of signings coming in, Baleba helps out the midfield a lot. Like, I mean a lot. He really transforms the entire thing. So super excited to use him, and I mean like super excited. Martin, super excited to see what we can get out of him, and the rest of the team I'm going to hold on to. Obviously, we are going to welcome back Rashford into the mix. Barcelona have not got him yet, but things can of course change. So for now, this is roughly what the team's going to be. Let's go over and see how this translates into performance, because I want to see an improvement on what we done last year. Well, digging right into the friendly schedule then, because we did actually have a total of 5 friendly games, and number 1 is going to be against Olympiacos, where we are going to win 3-1 away from home. So we love to see that. We also are going to go over and beat Dundee 4-0, which, to be honest with you, is not obviously the biggest team to play, but neither Olympiacos are a little bit more challenging. But what I'm trying to say is, without any disrespect being thrown, it's good that we've played a couple of games here and we're looking very, very confident. Now, against this side, Osnabrück, I think is how you say that, it wasn't as convincing. I believe these are a Bundesliga 2 team. We actually only win because of a 90th minute goal from Cunha. So, quite close regarding that. Barnsley, regarding this as well, this is going to be a very close game. Daniel Gore gets some game time and we are going to win that. And Slavia Prague, we don't get lucky because we have to hold on because they do find a way back into the game. Now, in between these friendlies, we had a testimonial against Southampton, so we'll go and watch it. We'll see what happens. So then, the testimonial, it's not the biggest game in the world, I know, but it's a different game from a friendly, isn't it? And it's another game where the players can show what they've got in their locker, and apparently we've got a lot, as we are going to play out from the back here, building up. Here comes Lenny Yoro. I mean, you can see the tactic in play here. Maybe you don't want to see the tactic in play. Maybe you do. We're playing a bit of a weaker team. Southampton just playing around with it here, trying to build up from the back. Smallbone running at the back line, taking on his man through midfield. What is going on? It's a ball out wide into Fellows. Plenty of time here, isn't it? It's a good ball in, and it is actually quite a good finish. So we are going to go 1-0 down against Southampton, something that I don't like to see at all. And now it's time to bounce back. So yeah, that's what we do. 82 minutes, Bruno is going to find Ugarte into Ahmad, and that's going to be 1-1. And we go on to actually complete this comeback, and this is what I like to see early on into the game. Ramsdale plays it out from the back, and this is where we sort of apply that press, cause some issues. Now, they do get that pass off, but you see that there? Like a 4-man press to win the ball back. Højlund is going to come back and get some game time. Into Heaven, beautiful to see him get some game time. Plays it into Ahmad, little ball through, into King Kobbie Mainoo, and it is going to be a 2-1 win. So, bad news, we are also out of a competition very, very early on, which I will break down a bit more in depth when we see what competition it actually is. But, yeah, Everton took the game to us, and fair play. I mean, I look at this right now, and obviously Mazraoui had a great time, to be honest. Made it 1-0. Then we're going to see Tyler Dibbling assist Barry to make it 1-1. Fernandez misses. Barry scores. Mainoo misses. They miss. Cunha scores, Lindstrom scores, Højlund scores, Slory scores, Mazraoui scores. But these 2 penalty misses, mainly the Bruno one actually, is the reason we're out. That is, if you couldn't tell, out of the EFL Cup, as Liverpool go on to win that this season. So we go out literally in the first game. So already a bit of a disappointment. As you factor in only getting a point against Liverpool, a point against Bournemouth, and losing 4-0 against Man City. Foden, Savinho and Bernardo Silva absolutely battering us. The only saving grace throughout this whole game, or this whole month should I say, was this. And it wasn't pretty either. Well, that was against Nottingham Forest, and even this wasn't a great performance. And I think it sums up, really, a lot about last season. A few of the same patterns of play are coming in, and that is inconsistency, which obviously is never a nice thing to have, as they are going to go through and make it 1-0. Now, at the moment, as it stands, Onana, Casemiro, Højlund, all the loaned out players have come back, and no clubs want them. So let me know in future videos when the actual main game comes out, if I'm allowed to use the editor to move them on to make it more realistic. I need your permission because I don't want to annoy anyone at the end of the day. But we're building up from the back here with some pretty decent play. I can't lie. I mean, it's one thing this tactic offers is sublime attacking play. Dalot down the right-hand side, just burning past his man here. There you go. Look at that from Dalot. Goes alone. Little cutback as well. Smart play into Baleba. And that is one of the reasons we got him. A great ball through, and Rashford is going to make it 1-1. But this whole game, to be honest with you, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't always nice to look at, and it's a game which we needed to win because obviously we've been so poor in the Premier League. And when I say poor, I don't want to be critical, obviously, of the game against Liverpool, for example, because a point's a point there, but 4-0 against City is not nice. We do take the lead here, obviously making it 2-1. And we do actually, you know, we're quite fortunate. We go and make it 3-1 with a little bit of a scrappy one. As Martin is going to win it back, plays it all the way back into Yoro. Martin's having a great time, by the way. Into Baleba, who was just running that midfield. Into Mbeumo. The tactic doing wonders there with Dalot with that overlap and run. And it's beautiful. The play is absolutely sublime. And a 3-1 would have been lovely. But obviously, the game's not going to end like that because I said it was a close game. And it was a close game. Forest actually go on to score a goal, which was see in a second, and it is going to be 3-2. So even in a game which we did win, it's not ideal because it's a 1-goal win, and it's against a team that, after getting a point against Liverpool, getting battered against City 4-0, going out of a cup, you need to really show the fans you're about it, and winning by 1 goal, it's not going to do it. Then this happens. I mean, it's classic us, you know. We have a good performance, then not a good performance. We are going to lose against Ipswich Town, which is, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. In the Premier League, obviously, as well. None of our players done well at all. It was a game which we just, well, to be honest with you, I'm quite embarrassed. And now we're going to have back-to-back Champions League games against Slavia Prague and FC Bayern. So I imagine Bayern are going to get the business done, aren't they? Well, the Champions League so far is okay. Now, I'm really keeping myself calm because we do lose to Bayern, but I'm factoring in what happened against City here, you know. We lost 4-0, so a 2-0 loss against Bayern for our standard at the moment is actually acceptable. And obviously, this 3-0 win against a team that I know we should be beating, thanks to Sesko and De Ligt, that does obviously become true. But because we won that game, at least, like, we didn't slip up there and then lose to Bayern. So it's not going awfully. As a really good performance comes in to carry on this Champions League campaign, and it is going to be a 3-0 win away against Atletico with goals from Baleba, Cunha and Ahmad. And it was a game that was very 50-50. So this is actually something that I'm happy with because it's showing that we've got a little bit of grit. In a game where both teams are playing well, we come out on top by 3 goals and kept a clean sheet. That's what I want to see a lot more of. And the rest of the Champions League campaign actually didn't go too bad. So we then play Athletic Club. We beat them 3-0. Stellar performance from Mazraoui, who has been one of our better players this entire video, to be honest. A point against Torino away is not ideal, but it is when Bruno Fernandes gets sent off inside of 36 minutes. So you can slowly start to accept these things when you're a man down. We go on to play Monaco next up in the Champions League. A 2-0 away win, and Sesko gets over 10 goals already in the season. He is absolutely firing as it stands, as we then go on to actually play 2 other teams that I am quite happy with what happened. So the last 2 Champions League games were against PSG and Feyenoord. Now, against PSG, we are only able to get a point, which I will accept. And Feyenoord, well, things got spicy. Well, against Feyenoord, at home, we put on a display for the fans. They're going to go 1-0 up from a great set-piece bit of play there, which will be coming to my main channel when the game actually drops, by the way, as a little heads up. And we carry on that play inside of the second half. Elegant build-up. Mazraoui, who's been probably, I'll say it, our player of the season. He's moving like Lionel Messi. I mean, that is all him. It's a good finish, but all credit goes to Mazraoui. Mazraoui is absolutely stunning to watch. A great bit of play from him, and we keep it going. Martin playing centre-back this game, to clarify, which he can do, hence why we signed him. Into Casemiro, into Bruno, over the top. That passing animation is beautiful. Into Dorgu. What's he going to do? He's going to cut it back into Mbeumo, and that is going to be a finish, I believe, from Baleba in the end to go. Obviously, 3-0. So, a very, very good performance, and believe it or not, we don't stop there. The Champions League is looking very, very promising. A lot more promising than the Premier League, because we're so calm on the ball. Now, Feyenoord are one of the better teams, obviously, over in Holland. They're not an easy team to play, and we're just passing it about like we're playing the under-21s. You know, we are having a great time there as De Ligt does nearly let that run. We recover it. Mazraoui into Baleba, back into Mazraoui, who's got so much confidence, back into De Ligt, back into Mazraoui. I mean, look at it. What a ball through into Mbeumo, driven across, and Cunha is going to go and make it 4. And that was in the 92nd minute. And somehow Feyenoord allowed us to get one last goal. I mean, for their confidence, this couldn't have done any good, because they are going to go on to lose this game 5-0. Great interception, great ball through, 5-0. Yeah, we'll take it. So we are going to finish in 7th place in the league phase, obviously getting through with 5 wins, 2 draws and only 1 loss, and that's a lot better if you compare it to last season, where obviously we had nothing. So yeah, let's be grateful for one thing. We are going through to the latter stages of the UCL comfortably. But sadly, the Premier League has not been going too neatly. A draw against Brighton, a draw against Arsenal, a 2-0 loss against Newcastle, a 2-1 loss against Everton. Now, yeah, so far things are not looking great in the Premier League. To be fair, we do get 1 win in the month of October. That was the same month where we do beat Atletico Madrid, but the only other win we got in that whole month was a 2-0 win away against Crystal Palace. We start off November, obviously, as we saw in the Champions League, incredibly hot against Athletic Club, beating them. We then do go and beat Brentford 2-1, where credit is due. But then we can only manage 2 points over 2 games against Aston Villa and Chelsea. Now, these are not like really, really poor teams, but it's results like this, the Everton one, that make these results feel so much more painful, because it's points you can't afford to give up. Tottenham, we are going to beat. Get ready. Coventry, we lose 3-2. This is the real kick in the teeth. And from this point onwards, I was actually very, very nervous. In fact, it did include me making a tactical change. And yeah, we go in to our next game against West Ham. And at the end of the day, if we don't end up winning it, we are going to look really, really grim. Well, I tell a lie, we played Sunderland before this game and we did beat them 2-0. So coming into this game is all about getting the team being able to win back-to-back games, something that a lot of people take for granted, but I'm not doing this season. And Mbeumo into Dalot, taking on his man through one-on-one, and that is a great start inside of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. A really, really lively start. And it's a game which means a lot to me, because we've not been linking up performances. We simply win a game, draw a game, lose a game, lose, draw, win. We can't win multiple games back to back in the Premier League this season. The Champions League we've taken to very, very comfortably, but it's super important in the business end of the season we start to turn up, and little skill moves like that, they're getting me excited, as it is going to be a 2-0 advantage in 23 minutes. It is a really, really positive start. And do you know what? There's not much from this performance that I was angry at. We were really good at defending. We were really good at attacking. The passing was on point. The players were up for it. And the tactic looks really, really good. We simply have just gone attacking for a little bit, just to try and really commit more players forward, get rid of these 1-1s and, you know, frustrating 1-goal losses, where I'm trying to really try and smoke teams. And we go on to win this game in 4-0 fashion with a little set piece here from Luke Shaw. That corner flag's nearly going in his face. Have a day off with that. And Mbeumo picks it up, and that is a beautiful game. So yeah, you factor in the 2-0 win. Obviously, Sunderland away. It's, I want to say, a hard place to go to, but we are Manchester United. We then beat West Ham. We also beat Burnley in between that, we get a point against Southampton. So I'm not going to be too critical because we're now not, we've not lost a game. If you include the Monaco game before Sunderland, we have not lost a game in 5 games. In fact, make it 6 games. A good away win here against Forest 5-2. The Premier League, a 2-1 win, which we love to see because we've finally shown a little bit of consistency. We beat Man City 3-1. We get a point against Bournemouth. We beat Liverpool. And then we finally lose a game against Arsenal. But that is over 10 games unbeaten from what was a really, really poor spell. And to put the little cherry on top, obviously, we're doing really well when it comes to the Champions League, and we actually go over and we managed to beat Wolves 1-0 in the FA Cup. Now, it was scrappy, it was not pretty, we were dominant, but we couldn't score. But we're through in the FA Cup, and I swear I'm putting everything into these cups. I want to win them as much as I can, because this club means so much to me. Well, despite the loss in the Premier League, we bounced back right away, beating Chelsea 5-1. So the Premier League, we're not doing great because obviously we had such a bad start to the season, but we currently sit in 5th place, and it is still all to play for. But then this happens in the FA Cup, and I do not want to talk about this ever again. We get absolutely, well, we don't get done. We get done because of our own mishaps. We went 3-0 up against Luton with Højlund, Ahmad, and Ahmad again. We then conceded in the 60th minute. Not too worrying. 66th, a little bit worrying. 90th minute, alarm bells. We bottle a 3-0 win, and we actually lose on penalties, which is simply not good enough. It is an absolute embarrassment. Yeah, the FA Cup we are also out of. Despite me saying we're going to win this, I love the club. I do love the club, but clearly I can't change some things. Now, that is going to be the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup we're both out of, and Liverpool win both. That's like my worst nightmare. And yeah, when things are not going your way, they're not going your way. A 3-1 loss away against Villa and only a point against Tottenham means that this Manchester United team aren't even in the top 8 now. That's how close we are. Well, let's just put that to one side because I'm stressing about the Premier League. I am super stressed. But the Champions League, we are going to progress past the round of 16. We're going to beat Monaco away from home in 2-0 fashion with goals from Mbeumo and also Patrick Dorgu. And then when it comes to actually our home leg, I believe it is the next one here, we do win 4-1. So it's a very, very comfortable time. A 6-1 win over 2 legs. Rashford's firing in the UCL, and we are going to progress. So yeah, it's a bit bizarre that we're doing so well in the Champions League and now we're struggling in the Premier League, but yeah, I'm not going to complain too much because I know how it feels to start going out of competitions. In between those games, we could only get a point against Burnley. I think this is summing up what's happening right now. The longer we're in the Champions League, the harder it is to deal with the fixtures. I don't want to sound like Jurgen Klopp making excuses, but it is true. The more games, the more issues. We do beat Sunderland though, so maybe that theory's dead. A 4-0 win, we're going to take that anytime, and a 2-0 win over Coventry. But the next games we play are against Real Madrid, Southampton, and then Real Madrid. And I have seen what just happened against Southampton. We have lost 3-1. And they were down to 10 men. So this Madrid game, if it's that embarrassing, it won't even be in the video, because I am petrified. Well, to be honest, the first leg didn't go too bad. We do get a 1-1 draw, which is not bad for the Bernabeu. Now they come to Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, well, recently the theatre of tears. But we are going to give them a game here. And do you know what? At the minute, they're playing it round for absolute fun, and they're mocking us. But I've got a feeling we can actually take this game to them. Now, they are playing, of course, a full-strength team, and I do believe that was a foul. I'm going to be honest, but it wasn't given. Ahmad playing right back in this game as well, due to injury, and we actually go and score from that very controversial challenge. Now, let me know in the comments, was that a foul or no foul? Do not be biased, because I could be biased, and I'm not. I think that was a foul, to be honest. Now, Dorgu on the ball, into Martin, currently leading this really, really tough quarter-final. Martinez out wide into De Ligt. Plenty of space on the ball, out wide, into Amad Diallo, playing right back as said, and Mbeumo just about gets there ahead of Mbappe, back into Carlos Baleba, who is running that midfield, into Sesko, into Mbeumo, and that is going to be 2, and we're leading Real Madrid by a 2-goal cushion. 3 goals to 1, and surely, unless something goes pretty horrifically wrong, we're going to be quite comfortable here. Well, hold your horses. Martin is going to have a set piece right now. There's a ball inside of the box, and they're going to leap. It comes out inevitably to Vinicius, who's going to take on his man, hit it, and they've got a goal, and this game is still very, very, very much alive. 3-2, lots of time on the clock, and now the pressure goes back to us, and we're not dealing with it well. Diaz wins the ball to Shinemi through, and it is going to be Garassi, a new signing for Real Madrid, running out wide. We've got loads of men back here. Surely there's too much space. To Shinemi, back in, and that is going to be the equaliser. And just like that, all the hard work has been unfolded, and the game's level. 2-2, collapse has potentially started, and yeah, this is giving me vibes of the game against Luton. We do so well, then we just completely just let it go. It's simply not good enough. Over the top, Rashford is going to find Højlund, unorthodox player, to potentially help us, but we're going to go through and beat Real Madrid, and we're heading to the semi-final. Or are we? Yeah. That's right, you never know what happens in these videos, because this is something that, you know, I was not really expecting to bottle a 2-0 lead, then get the lead back, and then bottle it again. But Real Madrid have also signed Ez Abdi. Martin is going to find Garassi, great hold-up player, by the way, this year, into Carvajal, back into Garassi. We win it back on that press, into Kobe, into Bruno, into De Ligt, over the top, and that is beautiful play. Amad takes on his man, bags of pace, of course. This is where you want him at right back, because he is so good going forward, and yeah, that is why it works so well, because he can just do that. He can turn up at any moment. He can defend reasonably well, but on the attacking side of the spectrum, he is absolutely sublime. And Madrid, they're not going to stop there. They're fuming. They're losing this game. Of course, basically any Madrid manager that doesn't win the Champions League inevitably gets sacked. So a lot of pressure on Xabi Alonso here, and despite a great bit of play right now, I'm not going to bait you in again. We are going to progress through to the next stage. And despite a very couple of challenging games against Madrid, we do win our next Premier League game. So it's something. But then we get blown away 5-0 against Newcastle. So as it stands, we're outside the top 8 in the Premier League, but we are through to a Champions League semi-final against PSG. Now, after a 5-0 defeat to Newcastle, mentality-wise, we went into this with essentially nothing to lose. I don't think we're going to get the top 4 anymore. The only way we're going to get Champions League is to win it. So I threw everything at it, and at the first leg at our home, it's a 9-goal thriller. We do win it just. Talk about a game. I mean, that is absolutely mental. 2 own goals, by the way, so a little bit of a blessing. We then go on to beat Palace in the league, and now the question is, can we get over the line when we go to Parc de France? That's the question. Well, we can, and it was not done in a nice way. In fact, I feel quite dirty for doing it, but I basically played in a low block, time wasted, played for set pieces, and ran it down. Now, it doesn't mean we didn't, you know, create chances. We still did have chances, but it was a game which was very boring to watch. It was one of them games which, you know, you sort of go and make a cup of coffee if it was on in the background. But we are heading to a Champions League final. Against who? Guess. I'll let you guess. Well, we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League final, and it is an absolute honour to get here, considering how poorly we've been doing in the Premier League. So, a bit unique that we made it to a UCL final, and we start off very good, to be honest with you. Bruno finds Marcus Rashford, who's going to go down the line, back inside, and then Mbeumo is going to make it 1-0 in 25 minutes, and everything was nice and golden. We absolutely love to see it, but it doesn't necessarily last, because we build up again here with Martinez taking his time on the ball, plays it back stick, not really a great ball in. Juan Garcia is going to collect, and by the way, how crazy is it? We're playing a team that I've also done a rebuild series on. It's like they could really make me look stupid here, couldn't they? And well, I'm gonna just drop a little spoiler. They do get a goal here because Balde is gonna play a wonder ball over the top into Rafinha, drive it back, and the game is level. And the game was level for the rest of the game. It was a very, very quiet Champions League final, to the point where we're now into penalties. Bruno Fernandes is going to step up. We're going to see what happens. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Oh, a rocket into the top right-hand corner. Oh, Torres, I know. Well, you can miss a penalty, can't you? You can miss a penalty. He doesn't miss a penalty. I will say the penalty animations this year are absolutely wonderful. Cobby, confidence. I've given you a chance in the biggest game in your entire career. Cobby into the bottom right, lashes it. We love to see that. Dani Olmo. Now, I've got a bit of faith in Dani Olmo. I watched him a lot at Leipzig, and Onana maybe should have saved that. I'm going to be honest. Rasmus Højlund, now, we've seen him score, we've seen him miss. He steps, he scores, and have you noticed we are only going in the right-hand side? Very interesting, that. Koundé is going to step. Onana, little mind games maybe. Koundé steps, he scores as well, and so far, the penalties have been absolutely brilliant. And this is a shock horror, isn't it? Jadon Sancho, we couldn't sell him. He comes on an extra time, and he scores his penalty, so we love to see that. Cabrasi, a young player, and if he does miss, it would not be nice. I never like to see young players miss penalties, and he doesn't. It's a good penalty, to be fair. I believe that is 4-4. Martinez is going to step up against Joan Garcia. Where's he going to put it? Is he going to go right? He is going to go right, and it keeps happening. He keeps going there, and we are going to win, finally, 5-4. That is a really massive achievement. And as we look down this schedule of red and orange and red and green and orange and all the colours, this is the big one, isn't it? A big green against Barcelona. We draw against Brighton and Everton in between, and we have definitely sacrificed Premier League glory for Champions League fame. Now, obviously, we are doing another season, and I want to win the Premier League that season, because this year we finish in, I'm going to go 7th. We finish in 9th. Now, if we didn't win the Champions League, I would feel this big. That we have won the Champions League in our first time of asking, which is really, really good. Now, when we look at the league table, I just want to make something quite clear here, okay? One, I understand we are nowhere near the top 4, you know. We're, what, 10 points from the top 4. But it was very close from 5th to 9th. So I am going to take that into consideration. Also that we have won the Champions League. But next year, with this budget of 57 million, that might actually end up being a little bit more, and a team that quite clearly can win big competitions, I want to see a little bit more out of these players in the Premier League. Now, I might go and focus on the Premier League a lot more, sacrifice the UCL, for example. Marcus Rashford is a unit in this game. 20 and 9. Sesko 17 and 7. And Buomo 13 and 12. I'll make it very clear again. Do you want me, when the game's out, to use the editor to offload players that should be gone that I can't make go? You have the say in that. You're the viewer. You get the decision. 10 and 5 for Ahmad. Højlund 10 and 5. Martin 6 and 10. 5 and 2 for Cunha. Baleba 4 and 6. You know, assist-wise, we had a lot of people contributing, and this tactic has won me a UCL. So, very happy with what I see, and I do honestly, hand on heart, believe next season, when I'm not going to worry about anything but the Premier League, I think we're going to win it, because realistically, we've got money to spend. We can go and strengthen the team a little bit. We know this team can win a Champions League. I mean, we're able to beat teams, obviously, all throughout the league phase, but even in, like, the latter stage, Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, 3 of the hardest teams in the game to actually overcome, we did it. So, this team is good. This tactic's fantastic, but we just need to find a way to win the Prem, and that's what I'm going to go and scratch my head about right now. But yeah, that's going to be episode 2 wrapped up. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you go and check out the Patreon, because there is tons of cool perks this year. And yeah, join me on the 4th when the game comes out at 7 PM, as we're going to be managing, most likely, Dortmund live for you boys and girls. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you have a great one. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Rebuild. Today we put all of our eggs into the Premier League basket and try and go to win that competition. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, but as always, whack the sub bell on because we've got constant rebuilds coming out. We're going to be live streaming here soon. Endless content for your enjoyment. Let's get in and hopefully crown Manchester United Premier League winners. So, the last two episodes have been up here and down here. So, episode 1, we actually got inside of the top 4, which was a really, really strong season. Now, this is the Premier League only we're going to talk about for now. So, our first season in this whole project actually went relatively quite well. Now, you compare that to last year, what happened in last video, we finish in 9th place. So, it's a big step down. You can see here, obviously, the points that we were off the top 4 were around, or they actually are 10 bang on. So a lot of points dropped in that regard, but of course we didn't go trophyless last season. So, because as you can see right there, you can see the current holders of the Champions League is United. And we did win the Champions League. So it was a massive season for us last year, but a lot of pressure on my shoulders now to win a Premier League title because we have spent money. We brought in Baleba, we brought in Martin at left back, we brought in a lot of new players, and we've spent a fair bit of money. Now, of course, we won the Champions League, so we got gifted a bit more money to go and spend, and yeah, let's go and see if I decided to spend or stick. So, you probably know me quite well now, and I like to spend money in Football Manager, but surprisingly, I have not signed a single player, purely because last year I won the Champions League, so I know this team can take it to the teams at the very highest level. It's all about putting it together in a Premier League season. Now, this is a flip of a coin. If it works, I look very intelligent. If it doesn't, I look like an absolute invalid. I look very, very silly, and it's something which, to be honest with you, I think might actually come back to bite me, because I did have money. I had about 60 million to go and spend, and I have not spent any of it. Now, the decision was also made based off the fact that I wasn't able to move on, and still am not able to move on. Rashford, the likes of, let me go down to the bench. So, the likes of Rashford, Højlund, Casemiro, Ugarte, Dallo, the likes of Onana's come back. So, like, we've got a lot of the players that basically, you know, are out on loan in real life at the moment, where their futures are very much, you know, 50-50. And I've kept those players because, you know, I've not actually offloaded them. And therefore, I think we've got enough sort of good enough players to get the job done. Now, we are using the same tactic, the Amarim tactic. Again, at any part of this video, you want to grab all of these cool perks that will include all my rebuild files, all my tactics, set pieces, training, ad-free viewing, giveaways, tactical help, and so much more. The perks are literally quite endless. Make sure you go and check out the Patreon in the link below, in the description, because, you know, that community is absolutely mental. Now, what I will say is, with this tactic, we have seen a lot of success, but we haven't in that Premier League. So what we're going to go and do right off the bat is just see how we do in the friendlies. I don't want to sit back and, you know, worry about too much today. Get right into it, see what happens, aim for the stars. This season, the Premier League hopefully is mine. I'll show you the results of the friendlies, but this is more important. This is a UEFA Super Cup, and we're playing Sporting, a pretty decent team. Of course, they would have won the Europa League. We win the Champions League. We clash, we fight, we see who goes on to win. And we were playing some pretty sublime football. Between me and you, I was sort of looking at this Sporting team thinking, they're beatable. They are beatable, you know. I feel like they've lost a little bit of their DNA. And I was like, do you know what? Let's actually get on the press, get the game to them. And obviously, we went 1-0 up super early on. We currently find ourselves in the 60th minute. And Mbeumo is just active on that press down the right-hand side. And this is why you get Mbeumo. You've got to question the goalkeeping, but the confidence to have the shot there is what I want in my attackers. I want them to think they can score wherever. That is the confidence I want from my attackers. And again, we were very, very good on the ball, making the most of every opportunity. Mazraoui finds Mbeumo into De Ligt, very confident on the ball. Even the centre-backs are feeling this game. Going down the line, inside, and a great goal there from Big Ben himself. And that is going to be 3-0 in 62 minutes. And to be honest with you, despite being 3 goals up, I wanted more, because this season is all about sending a statement to rival clubs. And although this is not a Premier League team, obviously, if you can beat a team like Sporting, despite them not really being at the top of their game in this current save, it does send a certain message, and they do get a chance here, but we deal with it quite well. A decent clearance from Euro. I do question the midfield players there for not really being on their toes and getting that ball, and it does mean that inevitably we have to defend again, which we do. So the back line, mainly the centre-backs, are doing a decent job. Dorgu with a great ball out there, and this is where this tactic really comes into play, because if we pause it here, we are going to have, you know, 4 players running forward, 4 passing options, Bruno and Buomo, you've got Sesko, you've got Rashford, and we are all absolutely flying. You've also got Dorgu, who's pushed up as well, and it does fall to Buomo, who gets his second of the game, and we don't stop there. We're Manchester United, we're here to send a statement, and that's exactly what we plan on doing. So we pick up the ball and we go again. In the 72nd minute, Fernandes finds Dorgu, back into Fernandes. Martinez, oh, that is class. Beautiful ball. Rashford out wide into Diego Dallo. Little ball inside, Tesco, and that is going to be, I called him Tesco, not the meme, Sesko, a 5-0 win. And the friendlies before that game were absolutely beautiful, because we're scoring goals for fun. A 6-1 win here, a 4-2 win against Sturm Graz. Wolfsberger 11-1. Obviously, they are a bit of a weaker team, but I'm going to take the goals. A 3-0 win against Monaco, and a draw against PSG, which I do not mind at all. And that set me up very nicely for, obviously, this 5-0 win, which was a very, very good game. But before that game, we did obviously have a Premier League fixture against Southampton. Of course, the first game, very, very, very important. And what did we do? Well, we won it 2-1, and we won it in fashion. We dominated the game, our points. What a start to the season. We don't lose a single friendly game. We win the Super Cup 5-0, and we've got points from our first Premier League game. This might be our year. And then we follow that beautiful win up with a 3-1 win away against Villa, a 4-2 win at home against Fulham, and a 1-0 win away against Brighton. So although these teams that we've played, Southampton, Villa, Fulham, Brighton, aren't of any of the big 6, they're teams that we were slipping up to the past 2 years. So we are currently almost 2 months complete into season 3, and we have not lost a single game. And next up, in the Carabao Cup, we face Barnet. Surely not an upset. Well, and against Barnet, do not worry, there is no upset, because we're going to drive here with Mason Mount on the ball into Kobbie Mainoo, into Cunha, out wide into Martin, who's getting a lot of game time recently. He does lose it, but don't worry, we're going to recover it. We've got De Ligt on the ball, into Lenny Yoro, beautiful play, into Ahmad, down the right-hand side, back inside, into Mainoo, great ball over the top, into Rasmus, and that is 1-0 in 10 minutes. Now, I'm showing you this game because we did slip up to Luton, and I do not doubt that we could have slipped up here in some alternate reality, but we are going to go 2-0 up in 20 minutes, and Barnet at this point may as well have just packed their bags, gone home, gone back to their families, because Mason Mount's going to swing a ball in, and luckily for us, we've got Cunha on the edge who goes little cut in, and that is a beautiful way to score a goal. A 3-0 advantage in 54 minutes. And yeah, it carries on. I mean, Ahmad down the right, into Kobbie Mainoo, into Yagate, into Ahmad. Great play, back stick. Have some of that. And we carry on, despite it not being, obviously, 3 points. I'm happy with this. We are going to get a point against Arsenal away from home. It's completely acceptable, that, because we've had such a good start to the season, we can afford just to get points here or there against some of the best teams in the world. I mean, because then we go and beat Sunderland, we beat West Ham, we beat Coventry, we draw against Bournemouth, and we draw against Chelsea. So we're a few months in, and we are still invincible. Now, we went over those quite quickly because I'm just buzzing we're on this sort of form at the moment. But if you actually deep it, we are playing some incredible, and I mean incredible football. The question is, although it doesn't really matter, how have we been doing in the Champions League? Well, our first Champions League game was against Real Madrid in the league phase, and it's quite a boring game in terms of the scoreline. The game itself was fun to watch, but no goals, so not really worth showing you. And yeah, to be honest with you, it is a very interesting thing for a couple of reasons. One, the scoreline, but two, Guehi, Van Dijk, Camavinga, Mbappe, Haaland, I mean, they have signed everyone. It's not the first time we've played Sporting Sporting this year, and over 2 games of this season, we now have a 7-0 advantage over them. So 3 points in the league phase against Sporting, 3 points in the league phase against Villarreal, 5-0 by the way, and that is actually pretty decent. Now, in between that sort of like mixture of games, we also are going to progress in the Carabao Cup in 2-0 fashion against Watford. And yeah, so far, this is the entire season. You can see it right now all on your screen. It is a bunch of greens and yellows. We have played, 4 months of football, and we are doing such a good job, and I mean such a good job. This team has come together, and I do think when you're signing players over and over and over and over, the team can't really gel all the time, so this is working quite well. When you've just had a squad that's won the Champions League, why not give them the chance to go again next season, prove what they can do? And from my perspective, we're doing a great job. And our Champions League is going to carry on with a 1-1 away draw against Brøndby. And then another draw against PSV Eindhoven. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen because they're obviously, it's a lot of points dropped. A lot of points dropped. 4 points to be exact. We do bounce back and beat PSG 1-0, which is a good recovery, because if we didn't win that, things might be starting to look a little bit ropey. And to seal off the actual whole league phase, we went on to play Atletico Madrid, where we do get 3 points and a 4-0 win, with 2 red cards in that game, and we finish it off playing Ajax in 4-1 fashion. I don't know if it's enough to go through in the top sort of 8 because of some poor results. Let's go and see. But we actually done a lot better than what I thought, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a little bit more sort of compressed, but we didn't actually lose, did we? So despite the draws being a little bit frustrating, of course we're going to be up there. And we are up there. We are inside of 6th place. 5 wins, 3 draws, and who knows? Dare I dream of back-to-back Champions League success? Maybe we can. Very small negative amongst those games. We did actually play in the Intercontinental Champions, and we lose to Al Ittihad on penalties. Now, very surprising that this happened. I mean, what team did we actually put out then? So, I mean, for us, we have got... Okay, we played a bit of rotation, obviously Mainu coming in, you've got Mount starting, but to be honest, it's a decent team. We just couldn't get the job done. But I don't really care about that, I'll be honest. But a big positive is we are going to remain in the Carabao Cup. Of course, a trophy we have not won before, and it was quite a straightforward game. We played Stoke, so I mean, come on. It shouldn't be too much of an issue, and it wasn't. We really delivered on the main stage, and so far, apart from that Intercontinental exit, we're still in everything. To carry on the progression in the Carabao Cup, it's going to be a replay. A lot harder opposition, and we're lucky to get anything out of this game. Trust me, the stats might look quite average compared to both teams, but they were all over us. So yeah, we're lucky we actually got a replay from this. And when it comes to actually playing at their home, things got a little bit interesting. Let me tell you that, because we are going to see Chelsea with the ball right now, and they were playing some really good football. I've got to give them credit. I'm going to be honest. And they've signed some really good players. Omega, Schlotterbeck's come in. Obviously, Garnacho, our kryptonite. And yeah, they were just really, really good on the ball. They're a team which, turned up. And Garnacho, of all people, makes it 1-0 in 7 minutes. And, it's not what you want to be seeing at all. It really, really isn't. Of course, on the day, they're going to go 2-1 up on aggregate. Of course, still very, very early on into that game. And sadly for us, we didn't really bounce back. I mean, we were trying, we were on the attack several times, but we just couldn't really get the ball moving in the way that we have done against some really top teams in Europe. Chelsea seem to have a counter to our sort of game style, so I'm actually hoping we don't play them in any latter stage in competitions, because they have our number. I'm going to be honest. They have our number, and they are going to make it 2-0 in 74 minutes. And I'd love to say things got better, guys, but yeah, they don't. We actually go on to concede a 3rd goal in the 78th minute. Again, we're attacking, you just saw there. We're having shots at the goal, but they're not exactly, dangerous shots. They're not really challenging shots. And Penders plays a great ball over the top. Delap is going to flick it on, and I've got to respect the link-up play there. It's great play, and we're out of the Carabao Cup. But it's not all doom and gloom because, of course, we're out of the Carabao Cup for granted. That is one doom and gloom. We're through to the Champions League's latter stage. We are also still in the FA Cup because we actually play Stoke. Yeah, I'm not confusing the situation. We beat Stoke 3-0 in the Carabao Cup, then got knocked out to Chelsea, but then we played them in the FA Cup and beat them 3-1. So we're still in the FA Cup with Lincoln City coming up in the next stage. But in between that very confusing spell of fixtures, of course, Premier League. So let's discuss that. Well, a 1-0 win against Sunderland, a point against Southampton, 3 points against Villa, 3 points against Brighton, and then we had a bit of a frustrating time in these next couple of games, right? So the Premier League, 1-1 away against Fulham, and Leicester, very frustrating, purely because the game before we beat Liverpool. So you can look at this from two perspectives, right? In my head, if we're beating Liverpool, you know, we should go on to actually win against Fulham, you know, win against some teams like a Southampton. But also because you've beaten those big teams, can you also have the argument that you can afford to have these occasional slip-ups? Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, we also went on to beat City 2-1 in the league, Newcastle 4-1, Nottingham Forest 4-0. I mean, we were absolutely cooking. Sheffield 4-0, a point against Tottenham, 3-0 against Everton, 2-0 against Palace. And despite the cups, we are still invincible in the Premier League. We have not lost a single game. I'm double checking. We have not lost a single game. So yeah, things are going incredible. And next up, we've got a game against Lincoln City, which should be fueled quite well because after the Chelsea game, we bounced back in the Prem by obliterating Everton 4-0 away from home. Obviously, with goals from Cobby, Dallo and Bromo and an own goal. So against Lincoln City, our confidence should be up here. Well, against Lincoln City, don't worry, we are going to take it right to them. Ahmad puts a ball in, backstick, Lenny Yoro 1-0 in 17 minutes. And I cannot stress how important it is for us to get to a hot start in these fixtures, because we saw it last season with Luton. You know, we did start off hot there, but if you don't kill the opposition real early on, they will come back occasionally. And yes, it's Lincoln City, and I might be being a bit dramatic, but I have seen some very embarrassing losses in this project, and I do not trust that it won't happen again. So it was super important to me that we did go and obviously carry on this attack and play, and these lovely pass and triangles are so nice to look at. Martin again down the left, back into Heaven, back inside into Martinez, great bit of play here, back into Heaven, back into Martin. I mean, it is beautiful. Over the top, into Cunha, little cutback inside, and that is why you need to go and grab the tactic, guys, because it is so good in this match engine. I love the way that it plays, and yes, we have had the weaknesses, I understand that, but we are hopefully, if he finishes this, about to go 3-0 up against Lincoln in 35 minutes, and we do. That is going to be a great start to this game, and surely there is no way back for a Lincoln City side. I know I said that against Luton, but Lincoln are one step down from that, aren't they? So hopefully we can carry on progressing. Yoro into Martinez. What's he got planned on the table then? Well, it's a ball into Cunha, into Sesko, back into Cunha. He's going to go alone. He's got the pace, he's got the composure, and that is going to be a 4-0 advantage in 66 minutes. And the game was going perfect, but we don't keep a clean sheet, sadly, and Lincoln are going to get a consolation goal, and I will include it in the video because it was actually a really good bit of play. So for the rare chance that there's any Lincoln fans in the chat, I will include the goal for you, because your team has been playing like Barcelona for this last goal. I mean, they split the lines, and it's, look at that for a ball, great over the top, into Okoro, back inside. I've got to give them credit, but we progress. And we'll carry on the FA Cup journey until we win it, or we go out. And we're not going to go out because Rasmus Højlund has made it through by himself, because we were not playing well. He pretty much just got a bit of a lucky goal, and we get through to the next stage. I'm not complaining. Sorry, Spurs fans. And then we take on Southampton, believe it or not, in the semi-finals. So yes, we've got a chance here to get to a final, and we've not really faced any real big team. Now, Southampton aren't having a bad season, to be honest with you, in this game, and they were playing some pretty good football, but we win it back very high up the pitch, which they do recover again. Ramsdale plays it back into Edwards, into Casey, back into Edwards. Again, the pass and play is very, very good. I mean, you can't really critique them. They're playing this way against a team that is second in the Premier League. You can't really sit here and slander them. And they just carried it on going, and that line just got exploited, and we go 1-0 down. I decided to start Onana, which maybe was a bit of a gamble. But yeah, we're 1-0 down in the semi-finals, a golden ticket to obviously get into a final. We are going to equalise though, and it's very scrappy, but we don't really deserve it. And this game, inevitably, when a game's pretty undeserving from both sides, it goes to penalties. And now, as I like to always say, whether I'm live streaming or recording, this is now in God's hands. Maitland-Niles is going to step up first. Onana, do your research. Oh, wow. That is a shocking miss. That is diabolical. Sesko, the man, the myth, the legend. A lot of pressure on his shoulders against Aaron Ramsdale, slots it into the bottom right-hand corner, and that is what we like to see. Emre Can for Southampton, a very unique signing. Onana, what's he going to do? He's not going to save it. It's a very, very decent penalty from Emre Can. King Kobe Mainu, what's he going to do? Two Englishmen going head-to-head, and it's a great save from Ramsdale. That is a nut save. Fair play to him. All level. Jonda is going to step up, or Janda should I say, a good penalty into the bottom right-hand corner. Cunha, please, loads of money spent on this man in real life, and it converts. Just. Ramsdale looked pretty dangerous there. Archer is going to step up. Onana, do your magic. Come on, Onana. It's a good save from Onana. That's what it's about. Harry Maguire. Now, this guy can take a penalty. We've seen it before. Harry Maguire steps up from the spot and scores into the top right corner or the middle, and we do win 3-2 into the final. Come on. Well, I've done it again. I got ahead of myself. We weren't in the semi-final. That was the quarter. This is the semi-final, and we do win it. So 100% we are now in the final, and I'm quite glad this fixture exists because we got rid of City, obviously knocked them out, and you will never guess who we're playing in the final because we may be gifted a trophy here. We have had a bit of an easy run apart from this game, and we go on to win it. Now, I wanted to show you the highlights, but my game's bugged, and every time I click goals, it just has a black screen, so we can't show you the actual highlights. But when it gets fixed, if you want to carry on this save file, you can go and watch the cup final highlights. We absolutely obliterated them with less possession. We win 2-0, so we are going to be FA Cup winners. Come on. Now we turn our attention to the Champions League that, of course, we are in the round of 16 of, and the first game against Marseille hasn't really gone to plan. The second leg's very important now, which we are going to take control of and win 4-1. So despite a very ropey first leg and the fact that we actually started off 1-0 down, we finally snapped into gear, dominated the shots again, and deservedly progressed to the quarters. We might be about to do a miracle. That is until you decide to play Real Madrid and you lose 3-1 in the first leg. And obviously that opens up a whole tin of worms for the second leg that we didn't even do too bad in. We did actually win 2-1, but because of the first game, it's not enough. We are gone from the Champions League. And if we go and have a little look, it is going to be a PSG-Barcelona final. So a little bit annoyed because we were doing quite well of merging all the competitions together. But yeah, all the eggs are now officially in the Premier League basket. Make or break time, yeah? Well, and truth be told, I mean, between these cup fixtures, which have been very stressful on me and the team, we did have the occasional slip-up. So, you know, this isn't a slip-up, really, but there are some games like Tottenham were beaten badly in other stuff, and we just couldn't get the job done in the Premier League. But I guess a point is a point. We do pick up 3 points here against Sheffield in a 4-0 win, which is really, really impressive. And what I'm liking to see here is that we carry it on. City, we have beaten twice now. Well, obviously, if you include the cup, 3 times. 3-2. So 6 points over 2 games against City in the Premier League is incredible. 3 points against Leicester. We get a point against Palace. But what happens next? It's quite embarrassing because we actually have not lost a game in the Premier League season yet. And then we've played, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it, but I've got to show you, haven't I? We faced Arsenal, who are going to be up there with us competing. And they go 1-0 up inside of 12 minutes away from home. That sentence is very important because whenever you've got a game at home, there's a certain expectation to, one, be competitive, and two, try and win the game. But the real key one is to give everything and fight to the very end, you know. And I don't feel like my players done that this game. I really look at my players in a different light because, you know, these fans pay good money to come here. They really do. And to start a game like that is simply not acceptable. It really isn't. So, yeah, I was a little bit annoyed when the first goal went in. And sadly for us, Arsenal were just playing some of the best football I think I've seen from them in this entire save. Reshape into Saka, over the top, into Declan Rice. And yeah, the play is exquisite. I can't sit here and say anything else. I mean, it is very strong. A 2-0 lead in 28 minutes. And the fans have got every right to be annoyed. Just because we have won an FA Cup and, you know, we've had a decent couple of seasons in terms of turning this club around, we can't get complacent. The Premier League is neck and neck. In fact, it is literally so close. One result can turn the entire season. And results like this will turn the entire season. Gabriel into Moreno. They're spreading the play so well. Into Riley. Building up. Into Timber. Into Madueke. Great on the ball. Back into Timber. Into Madueke. Takes on his man. Way too easy. Into Kai Havertz. Plenty of space. Back into Madueke. And it's 3-0. And I can't sit here and say we're getting unlucky. Decisions are going against us. We're playing absolutely awful football. They're exploiting us every chance they have. And they go again here. Declan Rice into Madueke, takes on the whole team and makes it 4 in 46 minutes. 46 minutes. Now, we do get a consolation goal, but I'm too annoyed to even watch it because it means nothing. And that welcomed another loss against Newcastle. So you go months without losing, and then you have 2 losses in the Premier League inside of about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, in between those games, we do beat Forest. We absolutely obliterate Liverpool badly, 5-0, which makes this result a lot harder to explain. A lot harder to explain. Now, this is where the point of the season, it got very spicy because, I mean, after this loss against Newcastle, it's tied up on points essentially. So the next games that we have against Coventry, Bournemouth, Chelsea, you know, West Ham, we need wins from all of them. And that's for us to win pretty much on goal difference. So yeah, the next 4 games mean everything, and the ones that we should win were against Coventry, 2-1, we get the job done. Bournemouth, 2-1, we get the job done. West Ham, 3-2, we get the job done. If we beat Chelsea, we can win this Premier League without needing a result to go against another team. If we draw or lose, the chances of winning are this big. Let's go and see. Well then, we're looking pretty lively. Sesko right on the front foot, although he is going to lose it to be... Oh no, he's back on. Here we go, and Bromo into Sesko, into Rashford. It's a good block to be fair. Delap playing very deep here, and they are on the counter-attack. Oh, where has that come from? Liam Delap going through one-on-one. That is... Oh my days, what has just happened? How has he been allowed to do that? This is giving me flashbacks to the Arsenal game. Everything's so easy. Where did that pace come from Liam Delap? Hopefully an equaliser here. It's an awful ball in, and Jorgensen is going to collect it. And ref, get the cards out. It's time wasted already. Get the cards out. Press. Get on him. Press. Press him. They've got all the time in the world. It's a great ball over the top. Liam Delap got... It's 2-0. I mean, this is what happens. This is what happened exactly against Arsenal. There was no drive. There was no energy. And it's so easy for them to play their football. Garnacho's running circles. How are we letting him do that? Take him down. Take him down. Don't let him do it. Especially him. Not take him down, that would be a penalty. Garnacho, it's 3-0. 3-0 in 58 minutes in a game that if we won, we would have won the Premier League 100%. Whatever the scoreline, we would have won. Oh, they're going to make it 4, aren't they? They're going to make it 4. I mean, I'm playing one of my strongest lineups here. What am I seeing? Cole Palmer. Yeah, do you know what? We don't deserve it. Absolute disgusting. Yep, so we round up the end of the season with a 4-0 loss. Obviously, you know, we did beat West Ham the game after, but we needed wins to guarantee the title against Coventry, Bournemouth, Chelsea and West Ham. Now it is in God's hands because there's so many teams right towards the top. Anything can really happen. It's been a great season for results in terms of, you know, the start to this season was absolutely incredible. I mean, look at this. We go so many months without even losing a game. And then this one, I personally wouldn't even include it. It's a bit of a Mickey Mouse trophy. So, you know, it's a really impressive time here. Of course, we've won the FA Cup. We've done okay in the Champions League. But the Premier League, well, we'll see what happens. Okay, I mean, I'll take it. It was between us and Tottenham, and obviously Chelsea would have done Tottenham a favour, but we are going to win. I mean, that's how close it come down to, because we had to rely on other people's results. We win it by 2 goal difference, so we're lucky that Chelsea didn't put 6 past us, or anything like that. So, yeah, we're Premier League winners, but that is the most stressful I have ever... it's the most stressful Premier League title I've ever won in my life, and I say that hands down. So, in this season, we have won the Super Cup, the Premier League, and the FA Cup. So it is going to be a treble-winning season, which I'm very happy with. But the way that we won it, boy, oh boy, was it stressful. Now, this team on paper, let's go to the both view. We'll put in the best 11 and we'll see exactly what they've done. So, yeah, we have to go in possession, aren't we? So we get a bigger screen. Here we go. So let's go and look at the goals then. So Sesko wraps it up with 26 and 4, Rashford 19 and 12, Rasmus Højlund 18 and 5, Bruno 13 and 8, and Boimo 11 and 8, Cunha with 12 goal contributions, Dalot with 16 goal contributions. You've got 1 and 12 for Dorgu, 1 and 9 for Mazraoui, Xerxes with a goal. It's a real team effort, this, and we have done a good job with this rebuild, in my opinion. You know, players going out, we've not done as well, in my opinion, because obviously they were getting sort of let go mid sort of sim. But the players that we've actually welcomed in, this is one of the bugs, isn't it? It's one of the bugs. You can't see the window when you're not actually in that current season. Okay, so obviously we'll have to look at it like this. If we go to match day, the players that we have signed, obviously we've only signed 2 over a 3 sort of season period. It is going to be, well, let me actually try and find him, Carlos Baleba. He has been a pretty decent signing. He definitely helped out from the grand scheme of things. I mean, if we look at him as a player, he has done quite well. A good average rating. You know, in the Super Cup, he was absolutely sublime. And the Premier League, he was also quite good. So, very happy with what he has done. Actually, quite ecstatic what he has done, to be honest with you. And then we need to go and find, where is the big man at left back? There he is. Big Martin, Gerard Martin. He has come in and also played a big impact on this. You can't really complain too much. I'm not a big fan of this screen, I'm going to be honest, because I think it's a lot easier to navigate on the old Football Manager. But again, the final season, you know, he's come in, he's done quite well, picks up 5 assists, we can't really complain. 4 in the Champions League, and we have transformed Manchester United back into a team that in 2 seasons have won the UCL and the Premier League, and of course the FA Cup. And if you want to count the Super Cup, you can count the Super Cup as well. I know some people get a little bit iffy when people say that, but yeah, there's a few things that I miss about this game. Like, if I'm not mistaken, like the whole trophy cabinet, in my opinion, doesn't look as neat. What is good to see is this. So like, you can look at your history, and I think you could do this in the last FM, but I'd actually argue that this is a lot more. I just believe that they could make this look a little bit nicer. So you can see here, during his tenure, Josh Daly's team won the UEFA Super Cup in 2027, won the Emirates FA Cup, and won the Premier League. It's brilliant, but what did I win in the other seasons? Where is the mention of you know, of... Have they got the Champions League there? UEFA Super Cup? No, they haven't. So, yeah, it's a little bit sort of... They need to work on that a little bit, in my opinion. But we know what we've won anyway, regardless of that. And that is going to be Manchester United rebuilt in FM26. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the video. I mean, it's a great rebuild, in my opinion. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Whack on the sub bell. I will be uploading a sort of compilation of these in one big movie. So maybe if you've watched this episode and you've liked it, you might want to go back and watch the entire movie. That will come out tomorrow. And yeah, we're going to be live streaming next week. So make sure you come on over, because that will be mental. Can't wait to get playing. We are playing with Dortmund. It dominated the vote poll. So yeah, I guess we'll be going yellow soon. Much love in the next one. So that is going to be Manchester United rebuilt in FM26. So leave a comment below who you want to see get a rebuild next. And yeah, enjoy yourselves. I'll catch you in the next one.